All right. Okay. Okay, so we'll just wait for Daniel. I would read to you their profiles. So I'll start off with Daniel's profile. I'm sure some of you might have already seen on the flyer that he is the lead publishing consult at Print Innovation. And Sheila is also here. All right. Okay. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Okay, it's good to see you. We look forward to hearing from you this evening, and we trust it to be a good time. So Daniel is the lead publishing consult and CEO at Print Innovation, which is a thriving print and publishing company in Accra, Ghana. If you haven't heard of Print Innovation, then I don't know, because I have heard of it at so many places. And he has over a decade of rich experience in the publishing and print industry, which is true. And he's helped a lot of writers to self-publish. And he's a trained publishing professional from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology here in Ghana. He's a training coach. He's a print production expert. He's a brand influencer. He's a conference speaker and a serial entrepreneur. And I remember I've heard him speak at many conferences. That's how come I knew he was good for this topic. He has a lot of expertise on this topic, and I'm so excited he's here to share it with us. He says Daniel is a thought leader and idea generator. He's a self-motivated professional. He's infinitely passionate about anything innovative and life-changing. He continues to share insights and inspiration with thousands and speak to several hundreds of audiences. With Daniel Annan's firm belief in branding as a tool to creating a strong positive perception of an entity, he has helped to develop strong corporate brands through Print Innovation service offerings. Fantastic, fantastic. What a profile. Daniel, you want to just share with us the Print Innovation story, how it started, what you do, and how it's been so far, maybe for a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, MFA. How do I start? Okay, this is how it goes. It's been full of tears over the years. I mean, when Print Innovation started, but we started off, I started off from my sister's hall, because at the time I started, I was with my sister, and she actually bought the first furniture in the first printer. And she believed in the dream, the publishing, the Print Innovation dream. So she kept on pushing. And then along the line, Sheila joined, and it was fantastic. Her contribution has been enormous. When we started off from our hall, and then we moved on to our one of our bedrooms, and then we moved on into a garage. And then after 2 years in a garage, we moved to our first office, official office, which was at Tudu behind the Accra Polytechnic. Now Accra, I think University.
Technical University.
Accra Technical University, yes. So we also, I think we spent about 2 years there, and we moved from them. We are now at our current location at Asylum Down on the Farm Road. So over the years, I mean, I have learned one thing, and that is being consistent and following through the dream. And that is what we have done over the years. And I'll say this to the glory of God, that we are seeing a lot of growth, even when a lot of people or a lot of businesses are beginning to think, are beginning to close down and all, yes. And people are asking how you're doing it. And I just say, you need to be consistent, have faith in the brand, have faith in God, and then He is going to see you through. We have, this year, we have opened another branch, which is around Sacramento, opposite the Ethereum Mission International.
All right.
And we call that place the Experience Center because we want to give customers a totally different experience when it comes to printing and publishing.
All right.
So,
yeah.
this is how far we have come.
Wow, it's such an inspiring story. I think many people admire entrepreneurs, but many people don't know the story behind, what they've been through to where they are now. And this is a reminder to us that it doesn't matter where we are now. If we are consistent, we stay faithful to the dream, whether it's a book writing dream or something, you just keep going and one day you'll see your fruit. So thank you. So you do, apart from publishing, what else do you do?
Apart from publishing, we do corporate branding. So when it comes to anything and everything corporate, we are also there. So talk of annual reports, talk of letterheads, talk of anything corporate stationery, we are there. Corporate souvenirs, we are there. And that's aside the publishing, yes.
All right, okay. I'm doing small marketing for you. Okay, let me just do Sheila's profile. So Sheila is Associate Publishing Consultant and Executive Director at Innovation Books, which is a complete publishing solution for the African author. She's an editor, ghostwriter, blogger, and entrepreneur. I know she's a writer because just last week she launched, is it 4 or 5 of your books at once? How many were they?
5 titles,
Wow, 5 books. That's amazing. So she's passionate about writing, especially for children, and has authored many books, including Against Her Will, Chocolate Bars, Asantewa, Chasing Waterfalls. I think I've read Chasing Waterfalls. Adiza's Dazzle, Sam's Wish, among others. She's a wife and a mother of 3, but she doesn't look it. She looks like a sweet 16. And her aim is to instill the habit of reading in children and to inspire the younger generation onto good works through her books. So these are my people for tonight, publishers and authors. And I think that it will be good to just get into it. So my first question is, for you, why publish in the first place? Why should we bother about publishing?
MFI, is this one going for me or Sheila?
Any of you can answer.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to publishing, there are a lot of writers who are not published, who have not published. So you cannot say they are authors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so number one, you can be a writer and not be an author. So why you would want to publish, you would want to look at the following reasons. Number one, publish because you have a story to share. And your story most of the time would have to be worth reading. Okay, you may be a mother who has probably gone through a lot of challenges in raising your children, maybe a single mother, haven't raised your children, gotten them to a level where you think they are going to create a very good impact on society. Then you would want to share that particular story with another parent, another single parent who is struggling to raise their children. So you would want to write and publish because it is going to help someone out there who needs the help. And then one of the other reasons I tell people to write is that write because dead men rule the world. So if you're looking at ruling your world, then you want to consider writing. You see, writing is such that when you immediately document it, it becomes something that generations can fall on in order to read. Hold on a minute, please. Just a moment.
Okay, so what's going on? I will just do a recap of what he said. He talked about the fact that publishing is what makes you an author. And a writer would have his book at home. You'd have written something on your computer, but until you put it out there, do either self-publishing or the traditional way of publishing, which would be my next question anyway, nobody would recognize you as an author of the work. So Daniel, please continue.
All right, thank you very much. And sorry for the interruption. I needed to take care of something. All right, so the next thing is that you would want to write and publish because documented ideas gain credibility. Someone would say, book no lie. The reason they will say that is because it has been documented. And most often when you document ideas on paper, they are believable rather than just saying it maybe on radio and all that. But immediately you put it on paper, someone can refer to that particular document. It can even be used for academic purposes. And then the other reason why I think you should write and publish is because you establish yourself as an expert in the field. Now, I remember when I put together my first book, which is Innovative Secrets to Publishing Your Dream Book. Soon after the launch, I got invitations to speak on the subject. Can you imagine a church entity calling you or inviting you to come and speak about publishing? And it was so revealing. The reason I say this is because I was even amazed at the connection between publishing and evangelism. Okay, and I was invited to speak on publishing. You see, so it creates an impression that you're an expert in the field. So if you want to be seen as an expert in the field, maybe you should consider putting your thoughts on paper. So that is one of the other reasons you can also write and publish. The other one too is that it helps you to create a personal brand. Now, creating a personal brand means that you are giving people the opportunity to see you in a certain light. Now, you get to be invited to places that you never would have thought of, getting to. So that is one of the main reasons why I think you should write. Some people write and use their books as their business cards. So immediately you meet them during any networking events, they would hand over their book to you as their business card. And comparing a business card and a book you have written, which one do you think is going to give you or raise your personal brand? It is very, very necessary that we look at the reasons why we should write and publish. And then you are also seen as an information bank. You will see it yourself. The reason is that merely you start putting your thoughts on paper. Number one, you start to research. So you research so you know your subject matter. So this one gives you more information on that particular subject matter. So you become an information bank. So, and most often, in academia, you are required to read around the subject or the topic on which you want to write, and they call it literature review. So by the time you read around, you know what people are saying about a particular subject, and it gives you more information to know which areas have not been touched or have not been tackled. Then you can also add your personal experience to whatever you are writing on. And then someone too says that, writing and publishing is actually prestigious. The reason is that it's a discipline that a lot of people are unable to cope with. So if you have been able to discipline yourself to write a book, 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, then it means that immediately you bring out your book or you tell people that you are an author of 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, you gain some kind of respect, because it's not everyone that can write a book. And then I say you should publish or you should write because it makes you a better communicator. Immediately you start to write, you immediately become aware of what information you are putting out there. So you tend to read more and learn more about the English construction, how to put a particular information to communicate well. I mean, the editors are there to work, but you need to also be a good writer, a good communicator before an editor can help you present your work in the most suitable way for your target audience. So these are just a few of the reasons why I think people should think of writing and publishing. Emefa.
All right, thank you. So that's not a few, that's a lot. You talked about the fact that an author is different from a writer. It helps you to establish yourself as an authority because it's good to document your work. It gives you a personal brand. You can use it as a business card. You are seen as an information bank, and it's prestigious. And my favorite, of course, it improves your communication skills. So thank you so much. Now, when it comes to publishing, we know of different ways. Maybe some people don't know, but generally there are different ways to publish. And when I was growing up, I used to see a lot of the foreign books. They always have like, maybe there's a publishing house that is publishing the book for them and all that. But here with us, we see a lot more of, I am the one who is publishing, like I get up, write my book, and then send it to you guys, and you guys just sort of like print it and publish it and all that. And I understand that it is the difference is between what we call traditional publishing and self-publishing, if I'm right.
Right.
Yes, good. All right. So I just want to understand, you are the experts. Do you even do like publish for like the way foreigners do it, like a publishing house, you are publishing, you are doing the marketing, the sales and everything? Do you even do it? Why do you think that it's not so common with us here? And what is the difference for people to understand?
Okay, thank you very much. You know, when it comes to, we've had a number of questions over the years. I mean, some authors or writers will come and ask that I have written a book, I want you to publish it for me. And that is the time I have to now educate the person exactly what the person would want, because publishing itself has evolved greatly over the years. And we have self-publishing. Okay, self-publishing, I mean, as the name goes, you are doing the publishing yourself. However, you engage the services of professionals in the field to achieve that. That is self-publishing. And traditional publishing, you have a publishing house that says, I am interested in your manuscript. I'm interested in your idea. So we would want to run with it. So you sit back and then they handle the affairs of your manuscript, from all the way from editing to cover design to layout to printing to marketing to distribution. The publishing house will take care of all that. However, there is usually an agreement between the author and the publishing house. So depending on the percentage of contribution towards the production or the publishing of the book will determine how much royalties you tend to get. And royalties are the payments you get from the sales of your book. So that is how it goes. But you know, the reason why I say publishing has evolved is because publishing houses are beginning to develop hybrids. So there's a hybrid between self-publishing and traditional publishing. So this particular type of publishing has features of the self-publishing and then features of the traditional publishing. So that is what is currently in vogue, if I should say. A lot of publishing. So if you happen to have contacted a publishing house outside Ghana, say South Africa, say US, say UK, they will introduce to you that kind of service. It means that, and one thing I also forgot to mention, when it comes to self-publishing, you tend to bear all the cost of production, cost of publishing, you, the author. And when it comes to the traditional publishing, the traditional publisher or the publishing company will bear some or all, depending on the agreement you have reached with the author. So the hybrid, which is a combination of both the self-publishing and the traditional publishing, there are certain aspects that you, the author, would have to bear in terms of cost. And then when it comes to the features of the traditional publishing, they would also look at perhaps marketing and distribution, and then they pay you royalties. So it means that you're going to bear some costs on your side as an author, and then the traditional publishing house or self-publishing house would want to also bear some costs. So that is how publishing has evolved over the years.
Okay, so Daddy, I mean, what do you think? Do you do that? Do you publish for authors, or you encourage, or do you do the hybrid? And which one do you think you would advise us to go for?
Okay, there isn't a yes or no answer. The reason is there are a lot of factors that determine which of the types of publishing you should go for. Now, at Print Innovation, we started the hybrid, but from our internal generated publications. That explains why Sheila has published about 6 titles. So we started off to expose this particular service to other authors so that they can see the need to take advantage of it. But we have not yet put it out there as a service that people can take advantage of. The reason is that we are doing a lot of research. We are doing a lot of, because your geographical location can affect most of these decisions. So we want to be able to help authors in the most awesome way possible. So right now what we are doing is we do traditional publishing, but we are only concentrating on materials we have generated internally. And then when we have now gone out there and we know what the market entails, then we can bring on board other authors and then probably have an arrangement and do traditional publishing.
All right, thank you. I always used to think that, like people here maybe don't do so much of the traditional publishing because, well, what if you do it for the person and then something goes wrong? I don't know. I know maybe you can't track the person or something.
Oh, okay. I get it. But in Ghana, we do, there's a lot of traditional publishing going on in Ghana. And most often it has got to do with educational publishing. So most of the publishing houses that do educational publishing, they do traditional publishing.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. So those of you who are looking forward to getting a publishing firm to do all the work for you, maybe you should consider doing a book that they can use in classrooms. I think maybe that is a good tip. All right. So I also want to ask now, I have finished my book. I have, it's on my PC. I'm done with it. Now, what are the steps I have to go through from that point to actually making my first sale of my book? I think that's the crux of the matter. We want to know the steps to follow after that.
Okay. I think this will probably give us all the information we need for this particular session. I get this kind of question almost every day on a daily basis. And I get excited because immediately I start, I'm unable to I'm unable to do other things. I need to make sure that the person understands very well. All right, so let me start off. It says, what are the steps from finishing my draft to selling my first copy? All right, so number one, you need to do some research on which company or publishing house you would want to work with. So you can probably get recommendations from friends, from family members, and so on and so forth. You can also get recommendations. You can also get individuals who can do the work from books that have already been published. Okay, you can also surf the internet so that you can get names of publishing houses that can help you do it. So that's number one. Number two, you need to do some education, okay, for yourself, because you need to know exactly what you want, so you can expect that. You expect what you expect. So you need to know, number one, who your target audience are, because most of the time people write and they are unable to tell who the direct target audience are. If your book is for everyone, then it could as well not be for anyone. Okay, your book must have a target audience. You should have the question you ask yourself is, who did you have in mind when you were writing the book? Okay, so that is what would actually tell us who the target audience are. So if you come as an author and you ask me this question, so what are the steps? Now I've finished. The first question I'll ask you is, so what's the title of your book? Number one. Number two, who are the target audience? Okay, and you need to convince me that you have really written for a particular group of people, because that is going to help in the marketing of your book. We'll get there very soon. Okay, so the next point is that you need to have edited your work yourself. Okay, as an author, you need to have done your author editing, and it has to be good before you pass it on to an editor. So you get a good editor who can look at all the aspects of editing that would make your book more polished to be able to present outside. Okay, so you are looking at sentence construction, you are looking at subject-verb agreement, you are looking at paragraphing, you are looking at, so if it is a non-fiction or fiction, I mean, you need to get the right kind of editor to work on your manuscript. And expectations are very, very necessary. You need to let the editor know exactly what you expect on the work they're going to do for you. Okay. And what I always tell people is that do not rush the processes. If you rush the processes, now your book is going to land in a home you probably would not be invited to. And guess what? You cannot recall it. You cannot recall the printed book which has been bought. So it is very necessary that you do your things well. The next point is that you should familiarize yourself with cover designs. So when it comes to cover design, what are the expectations? Number one, your title has to be good. Then again, you may have socialized a number of titles about your book so that you now land on the final book title that you want to run with. And most of the time, what I tell authors is that the book is not meant for you. You wrote it for a particular group of people. So it is very necessary that you socialize whatever you are going to give to them, the final product. You start involving them. An example, Cover designs. When you come to print innovation and innovation books, what we do is we'll give you about 3 different concepts, and we ask you to socialize it. So after socializing, you now give, you socialize it to say about 10 or 15, depending on the number of people you get. And then you pick your highest number, the choice of cover that the highest number, the number of people who chose came to. That is what you do, so that you know that you may love color green, but that is not what would work for the book cover. Oh, as for me, blue is my color. I want blue. So the next question I'll ask you is, okay, what's about blue works with the cover? The title of your book is Marriage 101. Say, give me blue. Now I'll ask you why. Oh, I love blue. As for blue, oh, I love blue. Natural fact, we are not supposed to use that kind
so
of
funny.
that kind of thing, yeah, in making a decision for your target audience. So you need to involve your target audience. So if you have some followership on Facebook, social media, you can involve them. On WhatsApp, oh, okay, help me choose, help me decide. 3 different covers. Which of them would you pick on the shelf? Okay, from the shelf, would you pick this cover A or cover B or cover C? Okay, so as many as you get for a particular choice of cover, then you are most likely going to run with that. Very, very necessary. And there are features for the cover. Okay, so you have the title, you have, some books have subtitles, others do not have subtitles, depending on the genre of book you're writing. Okay, and then there is the author's name. Okay, the author's name. Some books too have forewords and endorsements, and the name of the person who did the foreword, or the name of the person who endorsed the book. You can also find it on the cover. And then you have the ISBN and the barcode. ISBN and the barcode at the back of the book. Okay, and then we have the author's bio, and then the blurb, the book description. So these are the features of the book, some features. And most books too have spines. Okay, so the spine is that part of the book that separates the front from the back. And it usually has the title of the book and then the author's name. Okay, so we are done with the cover. Now we are gradually moving to the inside of the book. So we've opened the cover now. Now the first thing you see, okay, after opening a book cover, most of the time is the title of the book. So we call that the title page. The title page. And the title page has the title of the book.
Okay.
And sometimes you would have the author's, the publisher's imprint.
Okay.
Okay, and then we would have the author's name. Then we move on to the copyright page. The copyright page gives all the information that there is to give about how to reach the publisher, how to reach the author, and then copyright information, disclaimer, and all that. Yes, disclaimer, and then the author's address, and so on and so forth. So these are and then the ISBN, very necessary. The ISBN also, that is where it's supposed to be. You can't put it anywhere else. Okay.
Okay.
Then,
so Danny, you just hold on for me, because so I want to understand why the copyright and ISBN are so important. What's the difference? Why can't I just do my book without it?
Wonderful. So when it comes to publishing, you know, after you have written your book, it's your intellectual property. So there should be a way to safeguard that property. So if you don't have a land, you don't have a house, you don't have a car, and you have put together hundreds and hundreds of materials like that, you are rich because you have intellectual property. No one can take that from you. You get it? So immediately you think of putting that one out there into the public domain, you need to have some protection. So that's where the copyright comes in. So it's like you patenting your how do you call it? Invention. Okay, so you have invented something, you want to patent it so that nobody would go and replicate it and say they are the first people who probably invented it. So that's where the copyright comes in. So if you want to copyright your work, you go to a copyright office. I can put out a contact, and you can call to get your all the directions as to how you can go about copyrighting.
Maybe
your
you
book.
should. Maybe you should. You should like probably leave it in the chat when you get a chance. So
Very
that
well.
people will reach out.
Very well.
him
Very
or her.
well.
Okay,
Wonderful.
all right.
Then
Okay.
next is the ISBN, and that's the International Standard Book Number, and that identifies which book you have written, identifies the geographical location. It identifies it actually identifies your book and everything about your book. So if you go outside, it's an international number. So anywhere you find your book and the ISBN is attached to it, it identifies your book. So that is what we encourage every author to do. So if you don't know how to go about it and so on and so forth, in Ghana, you can go to the George Padmore Library or opposite, okay, it's around Ridge, just close to National Children's Park, sorry, close to Children's Park, or the Ridge Church School. It is very close to the Ridge Church School. So you can go there and tell them you have written a book, you want an ISBN for it. They would ask you to write a letter, and then you would pay an amount of money, just a token, and then the number is given to you. And you are supposed to submit 2 copies after you have published your book, so that is going to show them that you have actually published the document. So that's evidence of publication. Okay. So that is for ISBN. All right. So MFI, are we?
I think you can. Yes, I think you can go back to finishing. I think you were telling us about the content when you go inside. Yes.
Good. So after the copyright page, you now have the other preliminary pages. Some books may have more than others, especially when it comes to acknowledgements, dedication, forward, endorsements, and so on and so forth. So depending on what book you're writing and the number of things you have to write about, especially when it comes to the preliminary pages. So acknowledgements, forward, endorsements, and so on and so forth. Some have more of some than others, like I mentioned. So an example, some may have about 4 to 5 or to 6 pages. Some even have more of endorsements. And you know, they do that because they know what endorsements can do to the book. I will come to that one, endorsements and forwards. I'll come to that one later. So after that, you have your content page, and then the other pages, the main book. Okay, so that comes, and then we have the end matter. So the end matter, you can have glossary, you can have appendix, you can have a list of books you probably referred to in order to write your book. So these are the things you expect. We expect you to know about your book, so that you can expect it. Okay, you can actually inspect it, that they have done. Whoever is working on your book has done exactly that.
Okay.
So when that is done, we do the inside page layout design, which is the arrangement of information or the text from beginning to the end, bearing in mind the size of the book, the age group, and then you are looking at who your target audience are generally. So it is very, very key. Most of the time, most authors or writers do not understand when you say we are going to do page layout design. What is that? We are going to arrange the text. Arrange the text in such a way that it has already been arranged. You see, then I'll now have to explain to them.
Is that arrangement like Microsoft Word arrangement?
Good. Oh. So most of them, most people think that the arrangement they have brought in Microsoft Word is good to go. But in doing the page layout design, what we do is that we take into consideration the type of font to use with your target audience. So your target audience, okay, they are children between the ages of 3 and 5. Okay, so there are specific fonts we would use for such age groups. You would want to take into consideration embellishments. Okay. You would want to take into consideration chapter titles, how to treat your chapter titles. Okay. You would want to look at margins. That's the white spaces around your text. You also would want to look at interline spacing.
Okay.
Look at interword spacing.
That's a lot.
Yes, very, very. And you know, some of the fonts actually do not aid readability. So fonts that are not serifs, okay? An example, you have, I think I have some on my screen. Avant-garde, you have Arial, you have Calibri. So these groups I have mentioned, they don't have what we call serifs.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are not interconnected to each other. So when it comes to reading, it looks like the letters have just been thrown on the page.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it depends on what the target audience are. But most often, if you have only text, okay, we advise that we use serif fonts. Okay. So an example is Times New Roman.
Times New Roman, yeah.
Yes, almost overused,
yeah.
But you know, it's very, very, very common. That's why I'm mentioning that one. You see that they have interconnecting, how do I put it?
I know they're interconnected, yeah.
They join. Yes, they join. So A will probably have a part of it joining the T. Okay. Yeah. So W, H, the H and the A will have a way of joining. So it makes readability very, very easy. And we use all these. We have done a number of research to pick a group of fonts that we use as a house style, okay? What we use here at Print Innovation as house style. So if we are looking at a book, say a Christian literature, what are the fonts we are likely to use? We have about 5-10 different fonts that we can choose from. Okay, if you are doing children's books, what are the fonts and what are the font sizes? Okay, because one font size, one particular typeface would have, if you are comparing two typefaces, one typeface might have a font size 12, which is even bigger than font size 13 of another typeface. So sometimes you would go, oh, I want size 12, I want size 12, or I want size 14. So I'll tell you that this particular typeface, its size 14 is smaller than a typeface like Times New Roman 14. Okay, so we look at, yes, we look at what typeface would work for you and what size would work for your target audience.
Okay.
So it is very, very necessary that at least you school yourself a bit in these areas so that you can actually inspect what you expect.
All right. So I will just make you take a break because we are taking so much in, and I will just go do a recap. Then you can pick it up from there, and then we can finish with this question and move on. So you talked about the fact that first you research on whatever you've written to understand what is out there, and if there's something else you need to do to add and all that. Then you said we should know your target audience, which is, for me, it's quite difficult for a lot of people, but maybe they can get in touch with you after so that you help them, guide them how to get your target audience. Then you talked about self-editing, going through your own book, making sure that you dot the I's and cross the T's before you send it off for external editing. And when the person is done editing, then the publishers will now look at the outside, the cover design, cover layout. Then they will move into the inside and also help to lay out your book inside. So when it's the inside has been done, what do we do next? Now your book is like it's ready for printing, sort of, right?
Wonderful. Yes. All right. So the next thing we do is we actually give you a draft. You need to get a draft of what has been done so far. And then you get it to be proofread. You get your editor to proofread again because you are nearing production or printing. So, or publishing, let me put it that way. So you need to get it proofread again so that we can get all the nitty-gritties, the other things that probably escaped. Okay, you know, when designers are working on books like that, sometimes a whole paragraph can get lost. Yes, a whole paragraph.
That's
whole
so
paragraph.
true. So
Yeah.
true. Sometimes a whole page, it's
a whole page
get missing
Good.
somewhere.
A whole page. So it is very necessary that you get the book to be proofread again. So after that, you now would want to look at what you want to do. But there's one thing I left out from the beginning, and that is your publishing goal. You need to have a goal because that is what will determine the extent to which you would want to go with your book. Now, the publishing goal is this. Someone's goal may be, I'm turning 50. I want to write a book for my birthday celebration. Now, guess what? This person's goal is different from someone who has published and wants to do a nationwide tour of the book he has published. So the decision to probably do a launch, the decision to probably print 500 copies or 1,000 copies would be dependent on your goal. So if you come and you don't have a goal, it becomes very, very difficult. It becomes very, very difficult for you to decide on exactly what to do. So if you are doing for your birthday, hello, MFI, you can hear me, right?
So I can.
All right. So if you're publishing for your birthday, there are certain questions we'll ask you. If you're publishing for a school, for the schools, educational publishing, there are certain activities you need to do. If you are publishing for the Christian community, there are certain questions we'll ask you and there are certain actions you need to take. So these are very, very necessary pointers that we need to take note of. Okay, so from when the manuscript has been edited, proofread at the layout stage, and your cover design is also done, now you want to ask yourself, how do you want to now proceed. Now, at that stage, you can decide not to print. You can decide that you're going to sell online. Then it means that to you, you are done. The next stage you look at is marketing. Marketing, book promotion and marketing. And then secondly, if you decide to print, have you thought of distribution? Have you thought of where you want to sell the books? And that should inform you on how many copies you should even produce. So you ask someone, okay, so how are you going to market your book? Oh, okay, if I get some at church, I think I'll get someone to sell some copies on the road, by the street and all that. You see, then it means that the person has not really sat down to think through this whole publishing thing. So we need to take the person back and ask the person all these questions, give the person homework to go and do and come back. Okay, so homework, go and do this, go and do this, go and do this, go and do this, and come back. Then it means you are now ready. So because we would want to be associated with the success story. Because when it goes well, you'll come back and still do business with us. So that is what we usually encourage authors to do.
I just want to say this looks like so much work. I thought like when I finish writing my book, I just bring it. You people print it for me and then I'll go and sell my thing. But it looks like there's so much work that is involved in it. And if you ask me, I think that the reason why sometimes our book sales are not so successful or productive is because people want to leave out the details. People don't want to pay attention. Is my book cover okay? Will it sell? People don't want to proofread one more time. People don't want to go and do research on how am I going to distribute the book. They just want to like write, and put their name on there and then come and say, hey, I've written 3 books. So, but when you go and see the books that they've written, as somebody will say beans, or like, I mean, it's not, it's not up to standard, and I think it's probably because there's a lot of work involved and you are making us understand that we shouldn't take that work for granted. We should be ready to do it. If you don't know how you are going to distribute the book, then maybe you shouldn't even start at all, because it's almost like you will print and they'll be sitting on your shelf, or you share it to your family and friends and everything will be there. So I think that for me, that's what I got from this, that work is involved and you should be ready to do the work. All right, so if I'm done, I've done my research, I've seen how I want to do the book, distribute it and all that, are there any final steps so that I can move on to my next question? You have so dealt with this question so much. I think some of my questions will become irrelevant, but let's finish up with this and I can move on to my next question.
Okay, so at this point, you have a lot to think about. That's number one. If you're doing online publishing, how are you going to get it out there? And who even knows you online? Because getting yourself, if you're probably doing a physical sale, you can probably go to your church, and your church people know you. Perhaps if you're a church leader, you can get your church leaders to your other church leaders and colleagues to buy your book. But if you decide to do online, the next question I'll ask you is, who knows you online? Who knows you? A lot of people come, I want to sell on Amazon. Oh, put me on Amazon. Oh, I want Amazon. And because there are a lot of misconceptions regarding selling online. And some other people do not reveal the truth, or perhaps they themselves do not know the truth. So they share it wrongly. In actual fact, when it comes to Amazon or online book sales, okay, you need to online marketing, you need to have a brand. If you have a brand as an author online, everything connects to your book. That is what you do. So you can't put your book on Amazon and not be you your personal brand is not online. And it means that if I see your book, okay, who is this person? Okay, what weight does he carry in terms of what he's sharing? If you have written on leadership, on a business book, it might be a very good book, but I'll probably go pick Miles Monroe's book and read, okay, because he has so much online that although we may probably have not seen him before physically, we know about him. He may even be our mentor, you see, in certain areas, but you haven't even met the person before. Why? Because the person has created a brand online. So really you think about selling your book on online platforms, you should have created a brand for yourself online. Very necessary. If you are doing a physical book sales, then you should also have, your network should be great, okay? If you are in various associations, professional associations, occupational associations, you are in church, you have a lot of other groups, then it means you are likely to make some good sales, I mean, with your book. Very, very necessary. So
Okay.
at this point, there's one last thing I want to share. Over the past 7 to 10 years, there has been a tremendous change in the industry, in the sense that people now do not even produce hard copy books over the tune of, say, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, okay? People are doing what we call print on demand.
Okay.
It means that you would want to print as the demand comes, okay? But in the past few years, in our geographical location, it was a bit difficult to get that kind of service.
But isn't the print on demand more expensive than doing bulk at once?
Yes, you are right. Print on demand, it means that if you are printing 1,000 copies as against someone printing, say, 50 copies, you wouldn't expect to pay the same unit, the same unit price as someone who is printing 1,000. But the good news is that at Print Innovation, at least we have built capacity, okay, capacity to deliver on that promise. And we are able to match the cost for the bulk printing with the print on demand service. So you can walk in anytime and say, I want to print 5 copies of my book.
Wow.
It's roughly designed already. Everything is ready. So can I get 5 copies? If you are not in a hurry, within 30 to 45 minutes, we should give you your 5 copies hot and ready. And you should walk out smiling. And I should say it is a world-class standard that we're going to give you, provided your work is good. So most authors would say, okay, after everything is done, can you give me about 5 or 20 copies? Let me go share with my partners and so on and so forth. And we are able to do that. We are able to do that. And we are trying to replicate what Amazon is doing. Okay. Because if you're selling your book on Amazon and you have uploaded your paperback, okay. As for the ebook, yes, they can download it on their phones and other devices. But if you have to upload your paperback on Amazon, and someone will probably have to buy from China, India, wherever, Amazon will print on demand.
Print it and send it.
Yes, print it and ship it to the person.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happened to the 1,000 copies? No 1,000 copies. No 500 copies. So they print on demand and they ship to the destination.
Danny, I've never seen a speaker like you who has answered all my questions by answering just one question. So at this point in time, I know it's more like, hey, let me say everything. And I think you've been speaking for a while. I'm going to take questions. You can go off video or be on if you want. I'm hoping that we can have Sheila for some questions as well. So I'm going to ask us to, if you have a question, you should be able to unmute. You don't need to raise your hand. You should be able to unmute yourself. If you're not able to unmute, let me know. So you can just raise your hand and mute yourself and then ask the question. Let's take about 2-3 questions, and then I will continue with my question. So I think I'll just have some comments in here. The first question that came in was, can everybody be a writer? I don't know whether Daniel wants to answer that question, but Mariska has a compliment for you. She says, customer service is what made me continue with Daniel. I met him in 2011 when he was working with another printing firm. The way he handled my issues made me contact him some years later. And I found out he had his own company. I've been with him since. So yeah, that's a compliment for you. Free advertisement for you. So thank you, Mariska. Do I have anybody who wants to ask a question? Okay. Emmanuel Adjete, my video friend, would you like to ask a question? You are muted. We can't hear you. Please unmute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I don't have any question for now. I think Mr. Daniel has really gone deep, and I'm very happy to be part of this.
He's doing a good job. He's doing a good job. Yeah. He is. Okay, thank you. Let me see. Is there someone else? You can also drop it in the chat. So Danny, can everyone be a writer? That's a question for you. Can everyone?
Okay. Everyone can be a writer. Everyone can be. The reason is that you need to have an idea. You need to have a personal experience to write. And it doesn't even mean, it doesn't even take one who has good results in English examination. You can even write if you have not schooled before.
Okay.
You can write if you are not educated. And you know, the writing I'm talking about here is about ideas. So if you have an idea, it can be translated into a piece, a written piece for you. So you don't have to think that you cannot be a writer. Everyone can write. Everyone can publish, because publishing is based on ideas, not how good you are with a particular the English language, or a particular language. But you know that people can publish in English and have it translated in a number of languages they don't even know how to.
Definitely.
Exactly. So everyone.
It's not a problem at all.
At all.
Okay, so I can see Fred's hand is up. I have a question from Edward in the chat, but I will let Fred speak because I want somebody else to speak and change the whole tone. So Fred, please unmute and then ask your question, and I'll take Edward's question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, the presenter. I was listening along the line here, but I want to find out along the line you are in your presentation is submitted that concerning the book cover, you may do some copies. I mean, some samples, about 3 or 2, and then you try to sell it out to see people's feedback from the people. So you may have different maybe colors So I want to know if you say you have red color, blue color, or green color, and you are selling that, won't it affect the brand of the book? That is number one. Number two, how do you, since let's say you put it on Facebook, how do you then get the feedback? Because when you put one copy there and then somebody sees your name, the person can say that, oh, I like it. I mean, that. So is it like the feedback will be in a form of this color is not correct or it's not good, you could have changed it this way, or you send it to a target people who you know and then you ask their feedback? That's my, so those are the two questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So the first one has got to do with colors and their meanings, right? And then the second one has got to do with socializing your covers with your target audience. Okay, so what I meant by we do 3 different concepts for your cover, okay, for your title, is because what we do is we read to understand the concept you want to carry across from the book to your target audience. And we usually play with colors, we play with concepts, we play with everyday life, and then we are able to generate the concepts that will best suit your book. Now, what we do is, you know, when it comes to colors, there are meanings to colors. I mean, in the African parlance, if you put on black most of the time, or you wear black on a particular day, someone may ask you if you are mourning. Okay. But in some other countries, maybe black might not mean that. Blue would mean something cool, something serene, okay, something very calm. Blue could also mean perhaps masculinity, because we associate blue with boys, okay, and then when it comes to pink, you associate it with femininity. So you are looking at colors and their meaning. So you don't want to use a color that does not resonate with the title of your book. Okay, it's very, very necessary. So if your book is probably talking about vegetation, you wouldn't want to use red, because green signifies vegetation, greenery, freshness. So that is what the general theme of your cover would have to gravitate towards. So it is very necessary that even you as an author, you would want to school yourself to know the meanings of colors, so that, I mean, you can actually inspect what is being done for you, because somebody might just do something for you and then you think you are okay because it's colorful. So it is very necessary that you get to know why the color theme. Sometimes just a general theme, not a solid color, as in a solid mauve, a solid whatever. Now, Print Innovation logo is mauve and black. And black, we chose these colors because mauve means royalty. So we want to actually treat all our customers as royals, okay? And the black means stability. So a stable brand that is treating its customers as royalty. So that is what colors stand for. And it is very necessary that we get to know these. And then the second question is, you are getting feedback from the covers you have socialized. Now, you need to be in groups. You can share with anybody you see in church, any friend of yours who you feel the book is for, okay? If it's for school children, you need to get to school children, perhaps have a hard copy to show and ask, okay, so if you are to choose from these three, if you had these books on a shelf, which one would you go for and why? You want to know the reason behind why they choose what they choose. It's very, very necessary. Please, I hope I have answered your questions.
I think you have done justice to it. I don't know, Fred, are you okay? Okay.
Hello, sorry, I'm actually driving before. Let me ask the last question. The question of feedback is not answered. I want to know, you said you put the book, the cover page on maybe social platform like WhatsApp or Facebook. That is my understanding. And get a feedback from the audience of a particular color, because you said that you may like red, but maybe that will not be acceptable to the general public. So my question is, when you put it on, let's say WhatsApp, for them, they do not know what is your survey goal. So how do you ascertain the feedback when you put the different colors there? That is what I really wanted to know. But let me ask another question. Does the size of a book matters for marketability? Maybe you may have a book which size is 700 pages, depending upon how you have made the size to be. You can make the size A4 size, and it will be like 400 pages. But if it is like smaller than that, it will be 800 pages. Does it really affect the marketability?
All right, thank you very much, Fred. Now for this, okay, the first question, which is how do you ascertain your audience are now telling you they want to go for this particular book, and they don't even know the survey or the research you have done in order to come up. That, if I got the question right. Okay, so this is it. You know, when it comes to selling books, we look out at the outer appearance first. So if it's on the shelf, the person doesn't know what the book is about. So it is the cover that will attract the person, first of all, to even get close to the book. And this one, through research, they say the cover sells the book up to about 20%. So we do not want to expose the content of the book to anyone. We want the cover to communicate. So if it is not communicating, then you will not get the right answers. You need to get your cover to communicate. Then it will pull your target audience close to the book to want to now read the blurb and then want to now make a purchasing decision. So they don't need to know the survey you have done. They don't need to know whatever went into putting the book cover together. All they need to know is to understand what you are communicating with them through the title of the book, the subtitle, and then the concept of the cover that has been designed. I think it's quite simple for people to, your target audience to understand this kind of thing. They may not even know why they choose what they choose, but they can give you a reason why they don't like what they see.
Okay, so I think that, you know, the way they say, like, the customer is king. I think that maybe one of the angles that Fred may be exploring is that maybe based on the research I've done, this is the kind of cover that will really work. And then you put it out there to your target audience, and then they go like, this one doesn't work. I mean, it happened to me. I always get people liking the cover designs I don't like, you know, but I think that, like, what you are saying is, if you are going to sell it to them, then you might as well just go with what they say. I don't know if publishing, you allow beta testing for people to use different cover designs, but if that's not possible, then you might as well flow with what the people say they choose. Maybe you try it, you do a number of copies. If it's still not working for you, then maybe you can revert to the original one. But I think what I get from what you are saying is, if that's what they say they want, they are the ones going to buy the book. So give it to them at least.
Give it to them.
Yes. All right. Okay.
All right. So the second question, which is, does the size of the book, how does the size of the book help the marketability of the book? Okay. So I think in my answer to one of your questions, I did not touch on sizes.
Yeah.
Yes. And book sizes are very, very, very necessary and important when it comes to publishing. One of the reasons is that you cannot give what one target audience would require to another. Okay. There may be overlaps in terms of sizes. So usually when you come and you say you have a book paged about 20 pages in A4, single spacing, font size 12 times New Romans, margins 1 inch around, okay, and it is in Microsoft Word, all right, and we have to do a layout design into a preferred size. Now, usually what we advise is, when you have a size that is not, a number of pages that is not too much, an example 20 pages, we advise you to do a mini book, okay, or a booklet. Because if you are to do something bigger than that, it is going to look like a pamphlet. And we wouldn't want your book to look like a pamphlet. We want it to look booky, all right? And very, very, the term I give to it, it has to look sexy. Very, very nice. Yes, very, very. You see some books, you know that, wow, this book is sweet, is sweet. So that is how we do it. And sometimes you may come with a number of pages, like you mentioned, say
500. He's talking about 500,
500 yes.
pages,
yes.
Word.
So good, 500 pages in Word. What we advise you to do is, you know, you don't want it to look, it depends. If the book is an academic book, there's a way to treat it. If the book is in a different genre, it's a way to treat it. So for a book like this, we will say you should go for 6 by 9 or the quarto size. So the quarto size is not too big. It is between an A5 and an A4. Okay, so it gives it some cuteness. MF, I can see you are trying to imagine.
Yes, I'm trying to imagine it.
Exactly. So a size between an A5, that's half of an A4, okay, and then the A4 itself. And this is a very sweet size for voluminous books like that. Unless, of course, like I mentioned, it's an academic book and you want to look at other options. But when it comes to children's books, there is a size that usually works for them. Okay.
Like this size.
Exactly. So you wouldn't want to present a children's book in an A5 portrait with binding and all that. Opening it, you see, the child should be able to open it and leave it there like that for hours. But if you are considering children, okay, then you wouldn't want to look at an A5 size, which is probably voluminous, and you can't even open and leave the page open for some minutes. So that is what we look at. We look at the target audience. We look at the type of book, the type of the genre you have written, and then you can imagine reading a novel that is an A4 size. So boring.
Okay.
Yes, although there may be some books, some authors may try to do that because maybe the book might be voluminous, heavily voluminous.
Yeah,
yes.
I can imagine Daniel Steele used to do books with big sizes.
Big sizes, exactly. So you should, what we do is we try to research to get the international, what is acceptable internationally, so that we toe that line. So,
all right.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So thank you. I think we've done justice to it. I have barely 30 minutes to end, and I haven't even touched on my marketing topics. And so I would like us to just run through a bit quickly. So Edward has an interesting question. He says he's been designing cover pages. Okay, he's a graphic designer, and he feels like he has things he has to share, but he doesn't know how to write a book. So how is he going to be able to do that? What should he do? Maybe he just has like pictures. You know, what is he going to do? How is he going to write it? I think maybe the first thing I just want to say is that you are not going to be the first graphic designer to write a book.
Yeah.
That would be from me. And then Danny will just give us, I don't know, his quick pointers on what he thinks we can do.
Wonderful. So you only need to put your thoughts together. So if your thoughts are pictorial, that's okay. You can just engage the services of a ghost writer to put your thoughts together for you. Okay, so a questionnaire would have to be answered by you so that the ghost writer can actually put your thoughts together, and then your name will be put on it as the author, because you are the idea generator. Okay, so it's very, very simple. Just put your thoughts together and then get the services of a ghost writer, and then your book can be put together.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to add that you can do it. People are looking for information on how to become better graphic designers. I would like a book like that. If I want to learn something about design, I watch YouTube videos. But if I had a book, you know, the graphic designer in my office has a book on logo designs. It's full of pictures, but it's still a book. And so I think that if you are interested in writing, then you should be able to sit down and say, okay, I want this. Speak to a professional, maybe they can help. And just know that it will be heavy on the images, so you still get to use what you've designed so far. And who knows, in some years from now, you'll be like a certified author with so many links, getting people to invite you to come and talk about graphic designing. So please give it a shot. All right, maybe we can talk about it. Okay, Danny, my next question is, does a book market itself, or do I have to market it? I have a question, chat. That's okay. I have some comments too. Mariska has a comment. I think she mentioned something. Okay, I'm sharing my screen so many of you can see it. She says a trotro mate can write about his 2 years experience as an apprentice driver. A bullfruit seller can have a book written about how to make the perfect bullfruit, anything at all. Or someone writing an ebook titled Easy Steps to Making the Best Winning Ghanaian Jollof, or A Day in the Life of a Palm Wine Tapper. She's just saying anything at all, any topic can be explored. And Daniel Kuji also has a compliment for Daniel. I was happy when the 5 titles were delivered at my doorstep in Somanya. I've never met them in person, but they are wonderful. They should keep it up. Okay. So Danny, does a book have to market itself, or do I have to market it? I remember one of the things I have learned from you, which when I came for one of your conferences, I heard you speaking about, which has never left me, is using your picture on the title of a book. And when I came up with this question, I was thinking about it. I remember you said, you know, people like, maybe someone read a book by Richard Branson, and he has his picture on the cover page of the book. And I go like, hey, I want my book to be like this, you know, because I also like the design. I want to copy it. But I remember you said that, well, Richard Branson is a brand. He can afford to put his picture on his book and it will sell for him. But if I do that, well, since then, when I write book, I don't put even my picture at the back. I don't want anything. I don't want people to even know whether the author is black or white or Russian. It's like there's this whole mystery. Just because of that point, I remember I picked from your seminar. I think you're talking about book covers and all that. And so please give us more information on what can market a book, or if I have to do the marketing, or if a book markets itself and all that. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Emepa. I should say that I think I mentioned earlier too that a book markets, a book cover markets itself up to about 20%. So whether we like it or not, whatever you put on your book cover will either market it or unmarket it. So it is very necessary that we put the right kind of information that will communicate well on the cover. Okay, so if a subtitle is necessary to throw more light on your title, why not? If the title itself is promising the reader something, is making an audacious promise, then please, let's have that. Because you would want your target audience to pick the book and see that you are making a promise, and then please make sure you also deliver on the promise in the content of the book. Okay, so it is not just the book cover, but the content of the book also matters. But whether we like it or not, a book will market itself by up to a certain percentage. The rest is left for us to market, to do. So you cannot put the book in your room and expect it to market itself. You need to make some noise about the book. You need to tell people about the book. You need to let people know what the book promises to give, and then present it to them. You know, someone is probably waiting to read your book, but because they haven't seen it, how do they even buy it? So that is what you should ask yourself. Millions and millions of people are looking for information. How are you going to present that information to them? And where are you going to present it to them for them to buy? So that is pretty much, you see, it's one thing making noise and presenting your book to your target audience, and it's another thing making sales for people to do what? To make a purchasing decision on your book. So what you can control is how many people should see my book. When they see it, if the content is good, then they'll make a purchasing decision. Simple.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. This one, you didn't steal the rest of the questions to answer them before I got there. Okay, so help us. I mean, I wanted to ask about book title and book cover designs, but I know you have so much information on it. If I let you start, we will not reach anywhere, because I mean, I've heard you speak on titles, cover designs, and which ones should work and all that. But maybe you just want to give us 1 or 2 points on maybe for a book title, to your top 2 tips, for a cover design, your top 2 tips to share with us.
Okay. So when it comes to book titles, I mentioned in some of my presentations that a book title can have a formula. Okay, you can actually have a formula for a book title that sells. So you need to ask yourself a lot of questions. Number one, if your book lists a particular, maybe in a particular order, your book gives a list, maybe 20, you want to share secrets, 5, yeah. Exactly. So from research, it's been it's improving that if you have a list of things you are sharing, it will be very good to put numbers. Okay, so 5 strategic. Now let me end there and give you the rest. The next thing is you need to have an adjective to describe whatever you want your target audience to read. Okay, so we are building a title gradually. Okay, so say 5 awesome secrets. Okay,
marketing your book.
Thank you. So you need to put very catchy words and that will cause your target audience to your reader to actually think and process it.
Okay.
Okay.
All
And
right.
your book title should also give a promise. What are you promising? All right. What are you promising? So you say 5 awesome secrets. You are promising that you're going to give them secrets that they probably do not know or probably have not heard before. Okay, so that is what will cause your reader or your target audience to want to now delve into the book, okay, to read the pages.
All right.
All right, so that's for book title.
Okay, the cover.
And then for the cover, I would say that you need to know your target audience, number one, and then you also need to know the concept of the concept you want to have on the cover about the book. Because if you're talking about marriage, okay, say marriage 101 or how I probably found my first love, the love of my life, exactly. So for a cover like this, you can agree with me that red will by all means represent
somewhere. Okay.
You see, exactly, red or any shade of red around pink, around red. It could be the title, it could be the font color, or it could be some other element that will catch attention. Okay. Exactly. So you should be someone. Okay, I'm not saying the author will be the one to do, but sometimes what we do is that we would want to ask you, the author, what you have thought about in terms of the concept. Okay, some may say, oh, I had a dream, and yes, this is it. Can you capture that on the cover? Wow. Okay, so we will look at the salient points and areas that will actually work with the cover, the content of the book. So that's what we do. So we take your concept, we do that, and then we develop 2 other concepts for you.
Okay, all right.
To socialize, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. I just wanted to say, when you were talking about the book title, I just wanted to add that, you know, from my experience as a copywriter, even when you are writing like a short piece, like an article or something, it always works. Numbers always work. I always say it, and research has proven it. Numbers always work. And if you tell people, I'm come to show you how to do something, you know, those things that they even capture, if it's just a short message, people would rather read, because the person goes like, oh, it's just 5 tips. I think I can deal with it. Or it's 101 tips. Wow, how can you have 101 tips? Let me see what is inside. And so just not even with books, but this is a free tip for anybody who is a writer, who writes blogs, articles, stuff like that. Even with the shorter pieces, things that promise how to do something, those have numbers, and those that have words that sort of excite, like innovative, award-winning, something exciting. It makes people always come to over and over again. Okay, so I think I'll ask my final question for the night, which is on marketing. How do I market my book? I think people want to know that, how different types of books should be marketed and all that. That will be the final take from me. So if you have your question, you can prepare it or leave it in the chat. After this, I will take questions. All right, apologies. All right. I wasn't able to have Sheila on the call. She had to attend some things, but I'm sure I will get her for a final remarks, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll get her for that. Okay, so let's enter book marketing.
Okay, so book marketing, I noticed that a lot of authors struggle to market their books. They are able to quickly put together books or book ideas, but when it comes to marketing the books, it becomes an issue. And I will say, marketing the books, you're looking at presenting the books to your target audience, okay? And then when you look at sales, you are not looking at how many copies do you expect to get after you have exposed the book to your target audience. So it is one thing marketing and another thing selling. All right. So because of the era in which we are in now, digital age and all that, marketing has also moved, towards that kind of direction. Now, there's the traditional way of marketing. Okay, you can have the one-on-one marketing. Some people would get guys or ladies to sell on the streets. Okay, they'll just storm the streets like that and be selling. Okay, so that is one of the one-on-one. Okay, and then some will do book launches. Okay, to expose the book and also get people to buy. All right. So these are basic things that I think we all are probably exposed to. But I would want to look at other things that you probably have thought about but have not really considered. Okay. Let me say it this way. It is probably the things you know about, but you would have to do it on a larger scale. You do it on a larger scale. I'll share these few ones with you. They are bullet points from my book, Effective Book Marketing Strategies.
Yeah.
Effective Book Marketing
Okay.
Strategies.
All right. So he has a book like that. Yeah, I know he has a book like that. Okay. So I think it would be good to get it. He's going to give you some tips from it, but I think when you are done, you tell us where and how we can get it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like giving it away to somebody.
Wonderful.
Maybe I'll try and get a copy and give it to one of the people. I already know the person I'm going to dash it to. So we'll talk about it after. So you share your tips.
All right. So we are looking at creating an online platform. Okay. And I told Sheila that we're going to do, she should prepare herself. We are just going to throw her out there, okay, because she has authored 5 books. That is what has come out now, but there are more in the pipeline. So if you're an author, you would want to probably create a Facebook fan page. Okay, so you create a Facebook fan page and you engage your followers there. So you engage your followers so much so that whatever book you intend to release, they get to know about it. You present it to them. Then when they like the content, they would want to make a purchasing decision. And usually when you have a Facebook fan page, you would want to do what we call content marketing. Okay. Now, you would want people who follow you to know or to have an idea as to what you want them to have. So number one, you're looking at presenting or discussing with your followers content of the book. You throw it out there for discussion. An example, you're writing a book on perhaps teenage pregnancy, and you want to throw out there to your target, your followers, a discussion on the subject, and then you use that to expose the book. So you say, okay, so what do you think are the causes of teenage pregnancy? And then there's a discussion out there. And then out of that, you begin to present the content of your book, okay, to your target audience. And then when you finally are able to bring your book out and you tell them that this is the book you are talking about when it comes to teenage pregnancy, it has more information and that. They have already been previewed to it. So it is more likely that they are going to embrace it. Okay, you can also probably say this book is now available on Amazon because that is where you probably have your audience. Okay, so that is one point. You can also have a website. Okay, you can have a website. If you like, you can create a blog. Okay, so the blog can also engage a certain group of followers so that as you do your content marketing of the book, you know they are going to embrace it when you release it. Very, very necessary. You can also write a bio for the book. Now, in writing the bio for the book, because it is very, very necessary and it's going to help your target audience to decide whether they would want to buy the book or not, or even accept it, you need to get an editor or a copywriter to write it. It has to be compelling, you know, it has to be compelling. You don't just put something out there and expect people to embrace. And what I share with authors sometimes is that the fact that you are even distributing your books for free doesn't mean people would want to take it. Yes, it has to be good. It has to be good. You can also do a YouTube channel. Okay, you can set up a YouTube channel. You engage audience in that regard. You share content through video on YouTube, and then you finally present your book to them. Very necessary. You can get bloggers to blog about you and your books. Okay, so if you go online and you search, if people should search for your name, they should easily find you online. So that's one of the ways by which you can also sell out there. The next, you should shoot author videos and photos. Okay, yes. So
it's a big deal now.
I'm telling you. And you know,
what if I don't have money for all the, okay, I don't have money to shoot a video. Can't I just sell
use your smartphone
to shoot the video? Okay.
Yes. Maybe later when we can talk about the skills authors need to develop to help them in some of these things, because it's very necessary. It is sometimes more expensive getting professionals to do some of the things that we mentioned, but there are certain tools that authors can use on their own to promote their books and themselves, okay, at no fee. So these videos I'm talking about, author videos I'm talking about, you can use your smartphone and get some very good videos, and then you are out there, okay? There are some apps on the phone that you can also use in order to promote your book. Very, very simple. There are a lot I would want to share. I think I have over 100 or so points that I have discussed in my book.
You do. Please get the book. I think that we are all seeing that for lack of time. Otherwise, Danny is so loaded with so much information on this topic. Maybe I should do another session with you people. Yeah. Maybe talk about branding and marketing more into detail. If I get the money, I will contact you again. But it's been such a wonderful time of learning. So Eddie has a question. So I'm going to announce it for the last time. If you do have any questions, comments, this is the time to drop it in the chat. We are about rounding up. So Eddie wants to say, what can you use like your own Facebook page that you already have? Like he already has a page, Eddie's Graphics. Can he use it to market the book, or he has to create one specially just for the book?
Okay, so I will touch on that quickly. When you put your book online for sale, for instance, Amazon, you connect everything that relates to you as an author. Okay, so if you already have a Facebook page which does not talk about the book, but is your own business page, then it will be difficult to really collate the interest, okay, that you need to get on the book.
So you get like another page for
another page.
Book. Okay.
Exactly. And then you build your followership from there. I mean, from the other Facebook business page. Okay, because one person can have more than one Facebook pages, depending on what you want to achieve with it.
Okay, I have a question for you. What about those people who are not online people? You know, like that some people, this whole Facebook thing is not their thing, you know. And well, they may have a nice book. We even have a certain generation that have cut themselves off, but they have the content. Should someone like that do? Maybe I'm not good at doing this whole Facebook thing or starting a YouTube channel. What do I do to still market online?
Okay.
And by the way, should I do a book launch?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we'll come to that. So for someone who probably doesn't do Facebook and all that, you know, it is very necessary that you go with current trends. So if you can't do that, you can get someone to help you do that. Or you can even buy the services of someone who does that. Okay, we have social media marketers. Okay, they can market your books some money in order to get that done, as compared to someone who probably can just go around it themselves. But there are people who offer services that can help you do that. And then the next thing is, should I do a book launch? It's a yes and no.
Why?
Okay, number one, maybe in the past few years, book launches were kind of embraced. Okay, so when it comes to our current state now, all right, it looks like the word book launch has been overused, and depending on what you're doing in terms of the book you have written, the genre of book you have written would demand whether you're going to do a book launch or not. But what I usually tell people is that we will do a book launch without naming it a book launch. Reason why I say this is because immediately you mention book launch, people feel you are going to collect money. So
yes,
they are allergic.
yes.
They are allergic to the word book launch. So what I say is, we will still do the book launch. All the features of a book launch, we'll still do it, but we won't call it a book launch. And they will come.
And what will you call it?
Thank you.
Book introduction.
All right, let me give you an example of what happened. I think I've been sharing this a number of times. One pastor comes to us, launches his first book, launches his second book, and the second book, he didn't get good comments coming when he threw out the invitation. What they said was, when you want, as for this guy, when he wants money, then he's writing books to launch. Hey. You see? So his third book, which sold more copies than the first two, was not launched. It was presented. And by presentation, I mean you would want to organize an event around the book.
Okay.
And you get to unveil the book or introduce the book.
Okay.
So you don't say book launch. So this pastor client of ours says the book is on fornication.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Yes, the book is on fornication. He wants to launch it. So I was like, no, the comments you got from the first two weren't too good. So why don't we have an event around it and name it Purity Conference?
Hey, wow, you are the one who has been giving them this advice to be doing the conferences and things.
I tell you, Purity Conference, and I tell you the number of people that came and the youth, the students, he sold more copies than he did in his first book. So it's all about and ideas together, looking at the current trends, okay, how people are receiving what people received 5 years ago, they might not receive today. So let's rebrand it. Let's rebrand it. Let's innovate. Let's change it and present the same thing, but in a different form. And I'm sure we can make a headway in this
That's
thing.
a very good idea.
Are getting fed up with book. Yes, people are getting fed up with hearing book launch, and all that.
I still think it has its place. I still think it's nice. And
yes,
it's something you should go for if you have the opportunity. But just even what you said, I realized that if you can't organize an event, you can even write on another event. Maybe somebody else is doing something, you know. I think recently I had a friend who was doing something for youth. And I told him, hey, I have a book. I wrote it for university students. How about coming to present it at your program? And I think that I didn't have to do the event myself, but it's also a good platform. I mean, which is such a brilliant idea. And so thank you so much for that brilliant idea. And you guys have been amazing. You've been with us. Some people have dropped off, but really, most of you have been here. Thank you so much for this time. The session has been recorded. And so I'm going to send, I'm assuming everyone registered because that's how you get the recording to this. So I'm going to send you the YouTube link to the video as soon as we are done with the uploads and all that. And then we can have it. So like I said, I want to give one of your books out. I think I would take the one on book marketing.
Awesome.
And I'm going to give it to drum roll. Don't you all know who I'm going to give it to? Okay, I wish I could give it to all those amazing people who are commenting, but I'm going to give it to the person whose video has been on throughout the session. And so I'm going to give it to Emmanuel Achete. He knew it. It was coming. So
thank you very much. Thank you. I'm very grateful.
I don't know. Did you receive a WhatsApp message from me? Yes,
I did. Yes, I did.
So you can just send your contact or just send a hi. This is me, and then I will arrange with Daniel, and then we will see how we can have it delivered to you. And then when you get it, market it for him. As well.
I'll do perfectly so. Thank you very much.
All right. Yes.
Yes, I think I will donate five of my first book. That's so if you have written and you are considering publishing, and you probably don't know how to go about it, MFI, you can select 5 people.
Oh my God, this is too much for me. This is so great.
Yeah, so we are giving out 5 of innovative secrets to publishing your dream book.
That book is a master. It's a master. You write good books, honestly. That book is so good. It's so good.
Yes.
It's so good.
And then we'll add 2 books of the book marketing strategies.
Oh, you guys, come on. Okay, so I have my first. I'm going to go through the people who are commenting because that's like the first place I'm going to get people. So, okay, so let me start from down here. I think Edward Amwaku, he is so like, he's been commenting so much. So Eddie, one book for you. I've seen Mariska. Mariska, don't you have these books already? I don't know, but I'll still give you. I think, and then Daniel Kuji, don't you have the books already? Okay, because you have worked with Daniel, you've written here that you've worked with him. Yeah. And I had one interesting comment at the beginning. Okay, Evans, no, that I know Evans. I'm not going to give Evans this book. Okay, Bridget, I didn't have many ladies comments. So Bridget, yes, Mariska, and then Ike. Do I have 5 people? Okay, okay. So Eddie has, okay. Benet is dancing, but he's not going to get a book. And oh, I wish I could give. Okay, I will take another one and I will give mine to IH Darko Owusu because of I'm happy to see her here. So I have my winners, right? I have Edward. Emmanuel is a winner. IH gets a book. Who else? Ike got a book. Bridget got a book, and then Mariska got a book. Have I covered everybody? All right. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. If I mention your name and you received a WhatsApp message from Charismata before the session, just send hi or your details, and then I will arrange with Danny. And he has other books as well, is with his wife. So I think that, Danny, what I'm going to ask is, I need all your titles so that, I mean, people will also know what you have, what your I don't know, what other books you've written. Do you have them, like the cover pages, available here? Okay, if not, okay, when I'm sending the thank you email. Oh, okay, okay. So that's Innovative Secrets to Self-Publishing. This is Effective Book Marketing Strategies. Fantastic. And then this, How to Publish Your ebook on Amazon. Hey, this book, I read it. Not small. All right. So he has 3 titles. Do you have Sheila's titles with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see them.
Just a moment.
Okay. So you can go off video for now. So thank you all. We are just rounding up. Thank you. You guys have been amazing. I will send emails to everyone. And so thank you for your time. I hope you've learned something. We'll share the recording as well. And thank you. Thank you. I'm waiting for Daniel to share Sheila's book. Sheila writes for children, has very good content. So if you have a child or something, you can just share with them. I think it's a great, great opportunity. Okay, so you can share Sheila's titles with that. Even me, I want some. So let me just see it. So Adiza's Dazzle. Okay.
Adiza's Dazzle.
Okay. Asantewa. Okay. Look at that. Okay, Chasing Waterfalls. Wow, wow, wow. And How Big is the Sun? This looks like a good book that I could give for the children. And then Sam's Wish. Wow, wow. I'm so impressed. How do you people even get the time to do that? I'm so impressed. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you can contact me if you want to contact them. They're also into publishing. You need people to help you publish your books, corporate branding. He's already mentioned that. Yes. And so everybody also, yeah, Bridges, you get a copy. So thank you. You guys are now sending in so many comments when I'm rounding off and I'm 15 minutes past my time. So thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the evening and we will catch up later. Don't forget to get in touch if you deserve a book. All right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Mom was looking at you.